All right, it is time to review Ron Howard's latest, Hillbilly Elegy. Based on J.D. Vance's 2016 memoir, the movie focuses on three generations of his family. There's Glenn Close as J.D.'s grandmother, the matriarch of the family, and also the person he turned to for support when he was growing up, because his mother, who's played by Amy Adams here, is a bit erratic and she struggles with addiction. As for J.D. himself, we see what his childhood was like back in the mid to late 90s, growing up in Middletown, Ohio, and also what happens in 2011 when he's got the chance of landing a vital internship for his law career, but has to go back home when his mother overdoses. One of my favorite parts about storytelling in general is getting the opportunity to learn about somebody else's truth or experience, and I do think that Ron Howard and his team did have the chance to pull that off in a meaningful way with this one, but it just doesn't work here. Hillbilly Elegy is a bit of a structural mess with no nuance. I do understand the urge to hit the most profound beats of someone's journey, but those beats won't mean all that much without taking the time to let us just live in JD's world, feel the atmosphere, experience some of the more quieter moments of his life, and to establish some sort of connection to these characters. We don't really get much of that here. Instead, it's like the main players are kind of just reduced to their most basic descriptions and only get the opportunity to play into that and that alone. As far as the performances in the movie go, I actually found a lot of them kind of flat, and in some of the cases here, I do suspect that might stem mostly from the script not really working for me. Sure, Glenn Close can transform and lose herself in a role, but when overly blunt storytelling is stripping away all the subtlety and the script structure also doesn't serve her character nearly as well as it could, it does take away from the impact of her work. And the same happens here to Amy Adams as well. She's a favorite of mine. I think she always gives her all, and I think that's very clear in this case as well, but there are gaps in her character's story that really do contribute to the fact that ultimately, the performance doesn't always land, particularly when it comes to the 2011 material in the movie. I had a similar problem with Gabriel Basso as the older version of JD as well. I was a little more taken by Owen Asztalos' work as the younger JD in the movie because it lets him play with more of the character's sensitivities and the in-betweens, whereas JD is kind of wooden with a one-track mind to achieve his goals with his law career. Younger JD's experience came closest to making me feel what it was like to live in his world for a little, whereas older JD's journey made me feel more like an unengaged spectator. I do think the cinematography here might have contributed to that and to my preference for the 1997 portion of the movie in particular. I do understand why the choice was made to go with more handheld shots and have bolder colors in the past material, but the contrast between that and the muted colors of the present don't really wind up enhancing JD's journey in any way. It just makes the more present material duller. There are also a couple of very poorly placed and constructed montages in the movie that really up the melodrama, and a bunch of music cues that really unnecessarily foreshadow the turns that the characters are about to take. Also, I can't not say this here. Someone out there, please, 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 get Haley Bennett a role in a big movie worthy of her skills. If you have not seen another one of her 2020 releases, Swallow, please go back and watch that, because it might make you feel better if you find that Hillbilly Elegy it kind of wastes her, and that was a huge disappointment to me. I'm going to give this movie 1.5 Deweys out of 5 on the Dewey Decimal movie scale. Found it to be blunt, emotional manipulation with no valuable takeaway. I watched all of this play out and I didn't engage with most of it, and perhaps even worse, I was left in a place where I was kind of confused about how to feel about JD's journey. I know the point is for him to seize his potential despite certain hardships that he's faced and to decide if he wants to be someone or not, but the way he goes about that just didn't sit quite right with me at the end. So There you guys go. Those are my thoughts on Hillbilly Elegy. If you check out the movie yourself, do tell me what you think in the comment section below. Before I leave you, Patreon shout-out time, because this is a special one right here. This review is coming your way courtesy of Ian Wilder, one of the best beer pong players in the Patreon community. Ian, you're the greatest. I love talking movies with you. Thank you so much for the continued support. It means the world to me. And another big thank you to everybody out there watching this review. Please like and share it before you leave, and I'll see you soon with more of them.